in today's entrepreneurial world. We do things very, very quickly, and we don't plan. Planning helps you so that you are proactive versus reactive, and that you can act very calmly and efficiently as to what you need to do if a competitor all of a sudden shows itself, or if you need additional funding, or if you're looking for space. Make sure that you plan everything, that you have enough money for your startup and your backup needs, that you're experienced in the area that you're launching your business. You've got the right location so that your customers can find you. Not much money tied up, you know, all of your cash you have on hand to be able to do initiatives as opportunities arise. So really making sure that you thought, it's very simple in the United States to start a business. You know, you could use your own social security number, do a few things with paperwork, and you're started. But the real hard part is thinking through the process, making sure that you pay your bills. You're not expanding too fast, you know. Just because you're in one area and it's doing well doesn't mean that you can replicate or duplicate it 5 times. Having the right attitude, being up at 2 a.m. in the morning and happy to be up there at that time because you know that you're an entrepreneur and you're working for yourself. Making sure that you keep your records, that you have financial knowledge. One of the things that I tell folks to do right away is to make a relationship or have a relationship with a banker, have a relationship with an accountant, and hire a lawyer. So these are the 3 people that I would really spend money on. A lot of the other resources that we'll go through today are mainly free because you really are about building your business and getting your business up started. You don't want to use a lot of access capital on things that you need in actually starting your business. So the 3 people I would make sure that I would establish relationships right away are my banker, my accountant, and my lawyer. And then really knowing what's going on in your community and understanding what's happening so that you can respond and kind of have that foresight. You know, in starting a business, there's a lot of luck, but there's also a lot of planning. Most of the very successful entrepreneurs we work with, they really take an idea that they have and they flush it out. Some people nowadays, they don't like the business plan aspect of it all, but I still am a strong supporter of doing a plan. I don't do anything myself without sitting down and flushing it out with our BizLaunch program because I want to make sure that I'm providing access and resources to things that you all need. And I also have to brand BizLaunch. And so I go through my own business plan and strategic plan each year. And with that, the elements of a plan really makes you be proactive in your business. It talks about what your business is. It talks about how you market that business. Do you use social media? Do you use paid advertisement? Do you have competition? A lot of times people say, oh, I have no competitors, so, you know, the sky's the limit. Well, you should ask yourself, why isn't anyone else doing this? What is the opportunity? What is the low-hanging fruit here that I can establish myself and get other people to know me? What are my operating procedures? How often am I going to run the business? Is it a Monday through Friday? Is it a 7-day a week? Which leads us to personnel. How many people am I going to hire to do this? Are they full-time? Are they part-time? Do they get a percentage of my business? What kinds of insurance do I need in order to protect my business assets as I move forward? So as you're developing and designing your business plan, you really have to be thinking of these things, and you want it to actually be descriptive in a way where people can easily identify with what it is that you're doing, how you're going to actually make money on it, and how it's going to be a success. Now, if you're seeking funding, if you're seeking financing, some of the things that you'll also need are your balance sheets, your projections, looking ahead. Usually it's 3 years into the future. Typically what I will tell people is to look 10 years out and then work backwards so that if you want your business to become a franchise, or if you want to sell your business, or, you know, what is your end goal, and then work backwards so that you can attain it, whittle it down to 5 years to 3 years so that you can achieve that goal. That makes things much more tangible. And any kind of supporting documentation, A startup is considered anyone that's been in business less than 5 years. So they will be looking at you as the entrepreneur or the individual. They will want to see your tax returns for the last 3 years or any of your partner's tax returns, your personal financial statements, because in the beginning stages of building your business, you are actually I would say, the co-signer for the business. You are supporting the business, so they're going to look at your personal assets and your information. If you're going for a lease and you're operating a restaurant, they're going to want to see a copy of that lease if you're getting funding. All kinds of documentation should be part of your business plan. So a lot of people ask, well, how long should it be? It should be as long as you need it to be so that it adequately describes what it is that you want to do. And here are some links to some sample business plan websites. I would use them as a starting pad, launch pad. Sometimes it's hard to capture everything that it is that you want to do. We also have example plans. Let me know. You can either email or tweet me. My Twitter handle is @AEDBizLaunch, and I can send you copies of sample plans as well as a financial spreadsheet that we use that can help you with the numbers. Now, hopefully I haven't frightened everybody off and saying, you know, you've got to have the plan, you've got to be proactive, not reactive. I hope I haven't, you know, turned you away, because there are tons of local resources that we have. One is our website, which gives demographics, statistics in Arlington. I would say that I work for the Department of Economic Development, but most economic development agencies in your local jurisdictions will have access to the statistics of your community. It'll have a snapshot of the demographics of the age range of people, how they like to buy, what they buy, what are the major employers that are in your community. I would actually definitely recommend going to your local economic development website and getting a lot of information. On ours, we do have access to a quiz, which will see how business ready you are. There's also, on the federal level, the U.S. Small Business Administration. Here in the D.C. metropolitan area, we have two folks that can help you. What's interesting about SBA, and why I encourage you to go to their website, which is SBA.gov, is they have a lot of tutorials. They have tutorial business plans that you can work on and save. They've got all kinds of information about, are you ready to be an entrepreneur? Where are the resources? I would definitely highly encourage you to meet with them. They don't directly lend. That's one thing I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of. They only directly lend in case of disaster. If there's a disaster that has struck your community, the SBA can come in and directly lend to you. They traditionally will still work with the banks. The banks will lend, but they have to be certified via the SBA in order to offer the SBA line of financial products. But I would definitely highly encourage you to go to their website. They have tons of business resources for you. Here in our office, we also partner with a nonprofit agency called SCORE. They provide as many free one-on-one counseling sessions as you need. The majority of them have owned their own businesses. They've learned. I always hear them say, you know, they've started businesses, they've closed businesses, they know what works. I always think it's great to have a business mentor that can help you walk through that process. I've seen them in action, and I love to say that our counselors here can offer some really awesome advice. If you want to meet with them on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 9 to 4, they are available. You can just give us a call. The other cool thing is they'll also meet over the phone and do a conference call as well. But they've got tons of great advice and can help you with the business plan directly. Which leads me to one of the, I call this a best kept secret, but I'm trying to let everybody know. If you're in the D.C. metropolitan area, you can apply for an Arlington County library card, and our business librarian will actually meet with you. That link below, business librarian, is the link to our business librarian. You could set up an appointment with her. We have several business databases that you can access that will help you. Usually these business databases will cost you between $2,000 and $10,000 to create a list of potential prospects, clients, looking at your competitors, looking at how much your competitor is paying for market research data. Also, psychographics and demographics are available. Definitely take a look at the portal, which you can do so at the link and click on research topic, and you'll see the listing that's there. You can access it. You get your license to this data by inputting your Arlington County Library card and your last name. But we do have a business librarian that's available to kind of teach and instruct based on your industry sector. She can also help you narrow down some areas, and it's amazing the types of resources that are available that we have for free, which I always say free is a very, very good four-letter word. Which leads me to, as you're doing your planning, financing is a huge thing. Usually folks will say to me, you know, I'm starting my business and I don't need any money. And that's a red flag. Everybody needs money in order to be able to accomplish a goal. You go for money when you don't need it because that's when you're in that kind of proactive stance. Banks can smell when folks need money, but it's all very strategically done. In 2014, there are various avenues of assistance. A lot of folks that I work with, they go to friends and family. There's also crowdfunding now, where there's Kiva Zip program, Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, where you actually go to several people and they actually fund your endeavor. We're actually going to do a workshop on crowdfunding at the end of next month, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from the folks from Kiva Zip to talk about how you can successfully crowdfund. There's also traditional lending, commercial lending, that's based on the assets of the business or the assets of the business owners. There are the SBA guaranteed loans that I talked about earlier that are done through the banks. There's VC lending, which is basically someone investing in your company for a portion of your company's assets. They believe in what it is that you're doing, and they're willing to front you the money to do it, but for a price. And there's also the wing and a prayer. You hope you can get by with what you have, but you're not quite sure. And then there's none. There's really going, you know, I'm a strong supporter of being able to get low-hanging fruit. You know, being able to figure how you can do it with the least amount of investment that'll give you the most amount of money in return. Now, what the banks really are looking for, what funders are looking for, whether it's a traditional lending, crowdfunding, whether it's VCs, they're looking at what we call the 5 C's of credit. Your capacity, capital, collateral, conditions, and your character. Capacity is the most critical, of course. It's, can you repay this loan? Even if the business fails, would you be able to repay? So you may be going strong, but if all things, if your luck is not with you with this particular business endeavor, are you able to repay? Capital, the banks, everybody wants to make sure that if they're investing in you, you're investing in the business as well. If they're believing in it, you have to believe in it. And it's the amount that you have personally invested. Collateral, these are the guarantees, whether it's a car guarantee, whether it's stocks and bonds. It's a condition, a collateral is actual security that is placed on the loan. So banks sometimes may want to have collateral. Conditions, what is the intended purpose of the loan? Some lenders have angst about lending to somebody that's in the restaurant industry. Some won't invest in any kind of retail because it's a riskier type of investment. Others feel more comfortable. So really understanding the financial institution that you're going to and what their thresholds are. I would even ask the question, how many fast-growing companies have you invested in? What did they look like? This will give you an indication whether or not they will lend to you. And character is the general impression that you make to the lender or investor. They want to know, you know, are you, will you pay it back? Do you understand the industry sector that you're in? This really helps to set you aside from everyone else, and why sometimes we say, and having that management expertise in the business that you're going into, because folks are going to look to see, you know, do you have that experience? Are you knowledgeable in that area so that we can invest in you and that we feel comfortable in investing. So these are the 5 C's of credit that people are looking for, things that you have to think of as you're building and starting your business. Always have these things in mind, because it's not, most business owners that I know have to get lending at some point, and it's positioning yourself in such a way, whereas I've worked with people that will meet with the bank as they're starting, develop the relationship, either provide them, if they're in catering, provide a sandwich, show them what it is that they're doing, invite them out to an event that's hosted by your business. So by the time you go for them where you have a need for money, you've established this relationship, and it's a pretty good indication that you'll be able to get it, because they know. You don't have to start fresh with somebody that you don't know. Which then leads me to the new business checklist. You know, really first thing that you want to do is get that business plan up and running. Tweak it based on some of the things that you find out in the market. Make sure that you have your attorney, your accountant, your banker, and your insurer already figured out. Secure financing if you need it. Make sure that you understand, and we're going over this section next, federal, state, and local licensing, how to market your business, either to government or to other business, and networking. That also has to be part of your plan. You don't want to sign up for an association or an industry group or a chamber of commerce, and you don't have some money set aside to go to events and activities that you should be at. As you're thinking about and doing your business plan, one of the things that you also have to consider is, what type of business structure do I want to be? Am I a sole proprietor, where it's just me, 100% owner? Am I a partnership? Am I a general partnership, a limited liability? Am I an LLC, or am I a corporation? This really depends on what your end goals are. So as you're finishing up your business plan and you say, I'm going to gross X amount, I'm going to need some protection, I'm in an industry sector where I could be sued, you might consider being a limited liability company or corporation. Partnership, LLC, and corporation is actually taking your business and separating it from yourself and making it into making it into something that the state sees as a separate entity. And you go through a state process where they'll do the underwriting to either incorporate or to have you become an LLC. Sole proprietorship is exactly what it states. It's 100% ownership by an individual. Some of the challenges that people have is, if you were to be sued, heaven forbid, but you're sued, you're out there, your personal assets as well as your business assets are at stake. So as you're going through, and why I recommend having this relationship with the accountant or CPA or your attorney, is that based on how much you're planning to gross per year will indicate what makes the most sense for you. Most people start off as sole proprietor because it's the easiest form, and then they may decide as they begin to gross more money to become an LLC. Some people decide to become an LLC right away or to incorporate right away. But it really is dependent as you do your research and as you go forward. If you decide anything, I always strongly encourage people to get from the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, an employer identification number. It's like your Social Security number for your business, and it separates the income coming in from the business from your own personal income that you may, if you're still working or if you're doing your business part-time, but it really helps at the end of the year when you're working with your accountant to keep things separate. You have to get an EIN number if you answered yes to any of these questions, if you are incorporated or an LLC, if you have employees, if you have a KEO plan. Some of these questions right here, you automatically have to get an EIN. If you're a sole proprietor, you don't. But you can go, pretty cool, IRS, go right to their website and pull up the form, and you can fill that out, and you'll have your employer identification number for the business. Next, what you'll need to do, if you are looking for a location, some options that you can do, you can use yourself. You can be your own home-based business, or if you're actually looking to get a physical space, whether it's a co-working space, which is very popular nowadays. It's a space where there are other like users and you're all in one room, but you have access to a conference room, You have access to computers, mail. There are incubator spaces where you incubate with like companies, and then you graduate, and then you go and get your own commercial space. But with all of that said, even with if you're operating out of your home, you would need to go through zoning. And zoning offices across the United States will issue you a occupancy permit that says that you can do that use in that particular space. What's interesting, in Arlington, we have compiled a group of people called the Biz Team that you can go to help you launch your business, especially if you are signing a lease and you need to do any kind of commercial construction or build out. We've got these group of people that can actually walk you through that process, because starting a business can be somewhat daunting in that there's a lot to the process. And we will be sending you these slides so you can kind of see. But this will say when you need to get your home occupancy permit when you're working out of the house, when you need to get a commercial permit, or what we call a certificate of occupancy, depending if you're a food establishment. We went through, and there's several steps to starting a business, especially when you're looking at space. And before you sign a lease, anytime, I can't emphasize this enough, this is come to us, talk to us, make sure that you are permitted that use. For instance, daycare out of the home, you have to go through a process so that you can operate the daycare from your home. So you want to make sure that you know all the steps to that, because it could take quite some time before you can change how your home is zoned. And many times the landlord may give you a lease and it starts the day you sign, but everything is negotiable. You can actually say, I want to build out my space first, and then have the lease commence after that. So in case there's some issues that run over, you have that opportunity to be able to do that. In Arlington, we have, if you're moving here, all of the forms for your occupancy that are done through zoning are done at this website right here, building.arlingtonva.us, and you would simply click on business owner. And when you go there, one of the featured products that you see is acquiring a certificate of occupancy. This just states that you can do that use from that, either that building or from your home. And you could go to some of the quick links, and you'll find the information there for your to get your certificate of occupancy. I've got the contact information here for Arlington, and it's just a one-page form that you fill out, and they do the underwriting to make sure the use is permitted. And for the home occupancy permit, you would just click right here, and you would fill out the form, and you would get all the information to being able to legally manage your home, manage your business from your home. Next, if you're doing any kind of commercial construction, everything is on this building.arlingtonva.us website. If you're doing new construction, if you're doing any kind of alterations, if you need information on sprinklers, hoods, fire alarms, just go right here to this website and it'll walk you through. I also encourage you to, if you're doing anything with space, to meet with us via the Biz Team. I am a member of the Biz Team, and we can actually help you walk through this process. I would actually encourage anyone that's doing any type of construction to please get in touch with us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you. Because that first bullet, construction build-out, may take some time. And so, you want to make sure that you have a contractor that understands the process. Whether you're in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland, you want to make sure that they understand, that your contractor and your architect understand the rules and regulations for that community that you're in. They have to comply with ADA, with American Disabilities Act. And in Arlington, we do offer a code consultation with inspection services, the people that will be giving you your permits. So I highly, highly encourage to meet with us before you go forward, just to make sure that you understand the process and how long it could take. Once you get your certificate of occupancy or your home occupancy permit, you would apply for your business license. And the link below is where you can get additional information from our Commissioner of Revenue's office. A business begins January 1st of any year, and you're a business. A lot of times people say, well, this is just a hobby, but in Arlington, if you are receiving cash for a business that you're operating, then you definitely have to apply for your license. If you receive a check or cash without any federal deductions, if you receive a 1099, you are considered a business. And then it says how you have to file either a federally C or CEZ. You rent commercial real estate, you rent commercial or residential real estate. In Arlington and in many other jurisdictions, these prices are very similar. If you gross less than $10,000, there's no tax owed. Under $50,000 to $10,001, it's a $30 flat tax. Between $50,001 and $100,000, there's a flat fee of $50. So as you're starting, and if your business is grossing under $100,000, it's just $50. That's it, because we want you to be able to start your business and not have to worry about paying additional taxes as you're launching and getting started. Once it goes over, your business grosses over $100,000, it depends on your industry sector, and I highly encourage you to speak with the folks, and I'll have the contact information for Rodolfo Luna, who works really closely with us here in economic development, and he can let you know if you're planning, if your company is planning to earn $400,000 and you're in IT, he can give you an estimate as to how much your taxes will be. And those can be paid quarterly, monthly, annually, depending on what your specific needs are, and you would just let the Commissioner of Revenue know. In Arlington, we also have a business tangible tax, and that's pretty much a personal property tax on furniture, any kind of equipment that's used for the business, and it must be filed May 1st of every year. And this talks about some of the things that if you report all property in your possession and lease, and it is a depreciated amount, you file May 1st, and it's due on or before September 5th. So all this should help with the planning of it all. And here is Rodolfo's contact information. You can give him a call directly, or you can email him at rluna@arlingtonva.us, and he can help you with any questions. He's very approachable and a great team player for us here in BizLaunch. He did a tweet up with us earlier this month. I also recommend in the jurisdiction that you're in to register your trade name. You can do so right here as you go through and you apply for your business license. I believe it's $10. You can, at the bottom of the link, you can see you can search the trade names that are in Arlington County. This will help you with your name of your business if you want to search to see if anybody else has your name in Arlington, because you can be rejected if somebody else has your name. So you can go on here and search, and then you can actually register your trade name. You would need to do so if you're an LLC or incorporated. As a sole proprietor, you don't have to, but I would definitely recommend searching the database before you submit. In Arlington, we also have a customer advocate. Say you receive a tax bill and you don't feel comfortable with it, or you have a question about it, there is an advocate on staff that will listen and see how they can help resolve any issues that you may have. And we work very closely with Christina Urarte as well. She's a wonderful person. And so just to know that should you receive a bill or an assessment and you don't agree with it, or if you have issues or concerns regarding your account, there is someone that is actually advocating on your behalf, and that's Christina. Oops. Let me go back one. The State Corporation Commission is how you would actually apply for your partnership, for your limited liability company, and your incorporation. And you can do so online. The link that I have here will take you, that hyperlink will take you exactly to where you need to go. You can also, on that website, and I have it up right here, you see entity search. You can also search the state files to see if anyone else has your name. And I highly encourage you to do that, because you wouldn't want to be okay in Arlington, but somebody else in the state has your name and you want to be incorporated or an LLC. So you can go right under business entities and entity search. At forms and fees, this will tell you exactly how much it costs to be an LLC, how much it costs to file. If you were to ever close your business, the forms, everything is right here. A lot of it is available online. And if you also are interested in doing business with somebody and you have a question, do they really exist, you can also search those business entities. They're filed here through the Office of the Clerk through the State Corporation Commission. And I encourage you to do that within your local jurisdictions as well, whether it's Maryland State or DC or Virginia. Also, you want to check with your various state agencies. A lot of industry sectors are regulated, and we call what we call DPOR, but the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. They actually manage, like if you want to be an architect, or if you are opening up a spa and folks need to actually have training, you would go here, all the paperwork, all the information. If you're in construction and you need to have a C license, you would go right to DPOR, and all the information for upcoming classes to how you get certified through the state, all that information is right here. And I noticed that they also have a Facebook page, so you can also keep up to date if any of those licensing things change as well. As we go along, we've got some very, very good, some excellent business websites that I highly encourage you to take a look at. I mentioned, of course, at the top I have our BizLaunch website, which has a lot of information, the SBA, the local office for SBA. When you go to the main SBA office, you can whittle down if you're looking for your local office as well, which may have information about upcoming workshops and opportunities directly related to you. But the main website has all of its general information, and then it gets specific to the local office. Our DC SCORE office, you see their website there. IRS, the sample tools, and also down below, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but there's information on contracting and doing business with either the state or local. And there's also procurement training. Virginia PTAP, if you have an opportunity, whether it's on the local, state, or federal levels, there is an agency that's run through George Mason called Virginia PTAP, and PTAP stands for Procurement Technical Assistance Program. They will work with you one-on-one to help you respond to a bid. A lot of the people that work there have experience in working with government entities, and they know what they're looking for, and it's great that you have access to this. There are tons of networking opportunities, and this is really important, and I don't think folks emphasize. I think especially if you're a home-based business, many times you're whiling away, you're by yourself, you're in a coffee shop or you're at home, but don't forget to branch out, to reach out. We within Economic Development and our local Chamber of Commerce do a lot of networking events. You want to make sure that where you network will be potential people that you can work with, that you can get business from. So you do a little bit of research, but set aside the monies to be able to go out and brand yourself, be a subject matter expert, get out there and pound the pavement and meet people. Because many times what I found in entrepreneurship, it's really not about what you know, but who you know. Even with contracting, it still is about relationships. Even though there's a lot going on with social media, at some point you have to physically meet the people in order to feel comfortable to do business with them. So there should be a lot of networking, especially as you're launching those first 5 years, that you incorporate that into your business plan. And social media, I have this down below. Before it used to be I would talk to business owners and they're like, you know, kids are on social media, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, I don't know how to use that for my business. Now we're seeing there's a lot of businesses that are on that are using it. They can directly outreach to their customers. We've done a number of tweet-ups and webinars on how to best use social media, so I do definitely encourage you to have that as part of your repertoire, because if you're not online, even if you're not doing things online, people will Google and see if you're on Yelp. They want to see that you have an online presence, and if you don't, there may be a question, and you don't want to have any questions about your business, about what it is that you're doing. The lawyer, the CPA that I was telling you about, I have links. I work with a lot of folks through the Bar Association. They're amazing people that really want to give back. And they will work with you one-on-one, and it's not the price of, say, $500 an hour. You can negotiate. I know here in Arlington we start, I think the first half hour is $50, and then you can negotiate with the attorney what that will be. And they've done some really, really great work. Also, Accountants World is a great place to go to. With accountants, it's great to have a friend recommend somebody, but I also highly encourage you to get somebody that understands your industry sector, because they will really be able to save you money. Not all accountants may be familiar, and so there may be rules and laws and regulations that are around that would be beneficial for you. And then I had talked about selling your goods and services to the government. I think a lot of times folks forget that we, on a local level, we need businesses to help us supply services, whether it's photography, catering, IT, even health, and also people that can help speak. There's 4,000 employees in Arlington County, and we're always looking for training. So you can actually be a trainer, a certified trainer for the county, but you need to be on our purchasing list. It's absolutely free to do so. They will send you the information depending on the codes that you put in. They will send you information if it's directly related, usually 6 weeks prior, so that you have enough time to respond to it. But you need to already register for many of the opportunities through the county. And it doesn't matter if you're local to Virginia. We also have relationships with people as far away as California and as local to Virginia to Arlington. So we're always looking for folks, and it's free. EVA is the Virginia portal to doing business with the Commonwealth of Virginia. I definitely highly encourage you. It's $25 a year, but in the EVA portal, there are all the universities, whether it's University of Virginia, whether it's George Mason. They are all on there, as well as a lot, the majority of local municipalities use EVA. So Fairfax County, I think this total might have actually increased, but they buy about $6 billion in goods and services each year, and they're on EVA. And so you can actually go on there, see how much was spent in particular areas, see who it was awarded to, who the purchasing agent is, and give you a lot of great business intelligence so that if you're interested in doing business with the state, you have all the opportunities that were there, how much was spent. You can also get certified as a small business through the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's a program called DMBE, dmbe.virginia.gov. You can certify to be small, you can certify to be woman-owned, and you can certify to be minority-owned. You can also do a dual certification, small and woman-owned, small, minority-owned, or you can be small. And each of the different jurisdictions get a are encouraged and incentivized to work with small businesses. So I encourage you to get the certification as well as to check out some of those opportunities. And the federal government has sam.gov, which is I do believe they go up to about $2 million sole source. I would highly encourage you to go on sam.gov and put all your information in there and take a look around and see. If I'm at a federal agency and I need to direct source, I'm doing an event, I need to hire somebody right away, I search to DC and I'm looking for a caterer, I can go directly to you. I don't have to publicize it as long as the business is in sam.gov. So and that's entitled System for Award Management. So I encourage a lot of business owners. That's free. And fedbizops.gov is the clearinghouse for all the federal agencies. Whether it's Department of Labor, Department of Interior, you can go on there and see what opportunities are available. which leads me to, I got ahead of myself, but the business certifications that you can receive federally, there's the 8A program, Small Business and Women-Owned Certification Program, and HubZone Empowerment Contracting Program. If you go to that link at top, it'll take you to the page that talks about the federal small business certifications that you can get. And the DEMBI that I was telling you about, you can actually, for both, certify online. You can say that it's somewhat of a long process on the federal side, but you can save your application and go back to it. If you have all of the items that they're looking for and you want to go ahead and do that. Usually with the 8A program, you have to be in business for at least 2 years. The Women-Owned Certification Program, I think you can get into that immediately, and with DEMBI, that's also immediate. HubZone is a historically underutilized area in different regions throughout the United States. They want you, if you were in a HubZone, you can get access to certain contracts. If you go to their website, which is also, you can find it on that link I provided, you can see if your community is in a HubZone and what are all of the items that you would need to be able to qualify. And I know 40% of your workers have to actually live in that HubZone area. Okay, Melissa, I guess I am ready for any questions. I went through that pretty quickly, but I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody.
Yeah, definitely. We've had quite a few questions about the presentation, whether that's going to be available. So yes, we will send out the presentation because there are so many great links on it that people can use. Other questions, if you have any, feel free to write them in now. I can ask Tara. A question that we had is asking if there's any upcoming BizLaunch events that they could help start their business.
Oh, yes. And I had mentioned in March, it's called we're doing Show Me the Money Month in March, and that is all about financing. And so on March the 6th at the Central Library, we're going to have Wells Fargo come out and actually meet with us meet with you all and talk about what it is that you need to do in order to prepare to get funding, because so much has changed since the the market dropped and we went through all the real estate issues. What banks are looking for has actually changed. So we want to educate folks on that. We're also going to be doing a workshop on March the 19th at the library on how to do crowdfunding and how to get microlending. So if you want to look at the Kiva Zip program or Indiegogo, how do you set yourself up as a business owner that provides goods and services? How can you crowdfund to be able to successfully get money? And then I've been doing a lot of tweet-ups, which are a lot of fun. We're tweeting up on March the 5th online. The hashtag is BizLaunch @ and it's going to be with our friends from WAKIF, and we're going to be talking about financing. But we also have a number of networking opportunities. If you take a look at our website beginning in the spring, and we're going to be making sure that we get you out there as well. If you do or would like a one-on-one appointment with us as you're starting your business, I always say this workshop is the first step, but we will meet with you one-on-one as well to walk through. I know I threw out a lot of information today, but we can drill down and go into questions that you may have specific to your industry sector and your business.
Great. Another question that we had was just asking if you could expand on the library resources a little bit, like the research options they have.
Yes. There are about 4 different business tools that we use through the library. The first one is called Reference USA. And basically with Reference USA, you can search either consumers that live within a geographical area that have certain characteristics or demographics, and you can also search businesses that are within a certain geographical area. And you can actually download them into Excel and start to create lists. And one real cool thing is I find it interesting to either look at competition as well as looking at potential clients or potential folks that you have designated that you want to target to go after for your target market. And then you can actually get an idea on Reference USA how much these businesses are grossing, how much they spend on advertising, how much they spend on printing, how many employees they have. It's really, Reference USA is an awesome tool to give you a snapshot of the businesses or the consumers that are in your jurisdiction. There's also a database, a business database, a psychographic database where you can actually drill down and look at who is within a zip code or a particular area. So like you can plot out the area that you're looking at, and it'll tell you whether these people are metro renters or are they empty nesters, and it'll give you the characteristics of these people, and it will let you know their spending habits, their buying habits, what they like, what they don't like, if they use social media. And this is really great because it can also help you to identify your client base that you're looking at targeting. So you have an assumption about who makes up this particular geographic area, but then once you start drilling down, you say, oh, this is how they access their information, and you can do a marketing campaign based on what their needs are versus strictly based on what your assumptions are of the market. The library also has the business ratios that you need and some pricing as well. There is a new book that I will share with everyone, whose name I alluded, that I got from our business librarian, which will also talk about all the right questions that you need to ask to start your business. It's an awesome resource, and you can also get that available online. So I'll make sure that I add that in the presentation when we send it out.
Okay, thank you. Someone was wondering if we are going to be doing any webinars or trainings regarding startup for e-commerce.
I will definitely take that down. That's a great recommendation, and we can do that because specific to e-commerce, we could delve deep into that for you, and I could bring somebody in for that. So yes, thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, and going off of that, I just want to make everyone aware that after the webinar is over, you'll get an email that has a survey, and one of those questions on the survey is asking what kind of trainings you'd like to see. So if anything is of particular interest to you, you can jot that down on the survey, and we'll take that into consideration as we plan our future webinars or trainings.
That's right.
It seems like everyone's kind of gotten their question answered. And just, we've gotten a few more asking if we'll send out the presentation, and yes, we'll definitely do that. And you'll also receive a recording when you get that email. So it's been, great, and thank you, Tara, for putting on this webinar.
This is good. I hope everybody was able to get all the information they needed. It was snowing here, and it is stopped, so for lunch, to be able to spend a snowy lunch with us. I really appreciate you all's time and wish you all the very best in your business endeavors.
Thank you.